The upcoming limited Star Wars series, Ahsoka, is set to release sometime around spring of 2022, and there's a lot of conversation and speculation on what it could possibly be about. All we know is that it seems to be the sort of continuation of the Rebels series, but of course in live action. And lots of leaks and rumors have already been going around for this show, including Ezra being played by Mena Massoud. I probably messed up that name, but also Thrawn being played by Lars Mikkelsen. And I mean, Rosario Dawson all but confirmed that, accidentally I think. Anyways, one aspect that has always intrigued me, and many others, is the simple question, will Luke Skywalker show up for this? Obviously, we would all love to see it happen. I mean, it's Luke Skywalker, he's my favorite character in Star Wars, and in my opinion, the greatest and most well written. So in this video, I wanted to go over a few things and asking some questions. 1, what are the cons of bringing Luke into the show? 2, what are the pros? And 3, what would the story be like around these two iconically loved characters, and how would this play out? I guess we need to just talk about the negatives and kind of just get those out of the way. For one, Star Wars has had a lot, and I mean a lot of fan service and cameos show up. But don't get me wrong, having fan service does not inherently make whatever it is they're making bad. My favorite example of fan service is Luke lifting his X-Wing for Rey in The Rise of Skywalker. What's so great about this scene is not only is it such an uplifting and satisfying moment for Luke and his overall arc, but it is still completely revolved around and centered around growing our main character in the sequel trilogy, Rey. Another example would be Luke in The Mandalorian, and I think this is the best thing the show ever gave us. I love it. Okay, yeah, I know Luke completely steals the entire spotlight in this, but the build-up of it is done almost perfectly, and the story is still completely around Din Djarin and his son Grogu trying to find their way back to his own kind, the Jedi. So my biggest concern for Luke showing up in this show would be, how do they do this without making it feel forced or sort of shoehorned in? And that's just something that the writers are going to have to figure out. I'm sorry, Filoni. And now I want to talk about the pros, because there's a lot of them. First of all, Ahsoka and Luke have a lot more in common when you think about it. The main thing being Anakin Skywalker. Obviously, he's the father to Luke, but he's also Ahsoka's master in the Clone Wars. That right there builds an immediate relationship between the two, and this could build a very, very great moment, but I will get into that in just a minute. And another thing would be Grogu. Din Djarin is on a search to find a Jedi and to take care of Baby Yoda, but as we all know, he ends up meeting Ahsoka, who completely rejects the idea of taking him in and training him. The main reason for this would be the fact that Tano herself completely left the Jedi Order due to the amount of corruption and problems that were occurring within them. Ahsoka also says that she sees what attachment can do to a Force user with so much power and potential, obviously referring to her master Anakin Skywalker. So with these two connections, how would this come back to an appearance of Luke Skywalker? And I think the best way to do it would to start out their meeting with Ahsoka maybe having a bit of a bad reaction to Luke. It would be interesting if, when she first sees him, she has no idea who this person is and really how to react to him. She clearly sees that he is a Jedi, but what does that mean? So maybe in the beginning there's some bickering between the two, in which eventually Luke reveals exactly who he is, and that's when she's taken back by shock. It would make for a really amazing moment. And Ahsoka's first response to this information would obviously be her asking a very important question. What was the outcome of Anakin Skywalker? Did he die a horrible person? Did Luke even meet him? There's a ton that Ahsoka could learn from the truth of what happened at the end of episode 6, but there's one more major thing that I would love to see the two discuss, even more so than the talk about Anakin, and this being the two opposing views of the Jedi. So Luke sees the Jedi as the last hope for the galaxy, the very thing that the Force needs in order to retain balance and peace in the world. And then Ahsoka, on the other hand, sees them as a fallen religious cult who became way too power hungry, and she feels that having the Jedi back would destroy the balance once more. She saw the downfall of Anakin, and so once she finds out that Luke actually has Grogu and is starting a brand new Jedi Academy, how would she react to this? And Luke at this point in his life is 1000% on board with the return of the Jedi, and as I said moments ago, Ahsoka is pretty much on the opposite end of things, especially when it comes to Grogu. Her biggest fear with him is his attachment with Din Djarin, and she does believe that with how powerful and strong he is with the Force, it can cause another situation like Anakin's. and Luke and Ahsoka could possibly even share their own points of views and maybe even come to a middle ground. I think this conversation would really add to the tragedy of Ben Solo falling, because in the end it wasn't Grogu who fell like Ahsoka feared it would be, but it was actually Luke's own nephew and partially Luke's own fault. And so basically where I'm getting at this is, we all know Luke in the beginning of The Last Jedi is much closer to how Ahsoka views the Jedi religion during her time in The Mandalorian. He now believes it needs to end and that you cannot have true balance or peace with this. And then, of course, after some time and mentoring, he comes to the realization of the truth as to why the Jedi should and need to exist. However, it would be a really great connection to see that because of the failure Luke made, that in his own thoughts, he looks back and accepts that maybe Ahsoka actually was right and he was wrong. It would just add even more to the depth that his character's arc has in episode 8, and I made a whole essay video on his arc, so you should really check that video out on it after you watch this one if you want a more deeper dive of him in the sequel trilogy. So overall, do I think Ahsoka and Luke should meet up in her spin-off show? And honestly, yes. And I understand that they would really have to set this up, not just with the actual scene itself, but properly setting it up. And again, fan service does not inherently mean bad. If Luke shows up just out of nowhere, fights some people, and then leaves, yeah, that would suck and be completely pointless. But honestly, I don't think they would do that. At least I hope not. But anyways, guys, I would like to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think Luke should show up in the Ahsoka show? And if not, let me know why. And if so, let me know what you would like to see them do and actually talk about. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure and leave a like on it, as it really helps out the channel a lot. And yeah, if you're new, be sure and subscribe for more Star Wars news, theories, and more. And I'll hopefully see you all in the next one.